Hey guys, what's up? I'm testing my new cell phone holder that goes on the dashboard. I don't really know what to call it, but I figured it would be funny to do this. Now when the camera records the other way, I can be like one of those Russian people who always have the dash cam, you know, constantly recording and ending up recording some really weird shit. But I figure I'm on my way to work right now, and I figure why not use this time to record a video. So with that being said, hello and welcome to Gluten-free. One of the most common responses to when I say that I'm gluten-free is, what can you eat? And that question comes from the idea that you don't know what gluten is. Now there are some rules regarding gluten and figuring out how you know if something has gluten in it or not. The number one thing about being gluten-free is knowing how to read labels, because if you don't know how to read labels, then you're going to get sick a lot. But if you know how to read labels, then you'll be okay. But in addition to just being able to read labels, you also need to know what you're looking for. The number one easiest thing to look for is flour, wheat flour, because that's the number one problem. But I guess you could say it isn't, because it's not a hidden source. If you look on most labels in the grocery store that have wheat flour in them, they're probably going to be one of the first ingredients listed in the nutritional facts. So because of that, it makes it easy to figure out what you can eat and what you can't. But something that makes it easy to eat gluten-free is knowing how to cook. Because if you know how to cook certain things, then you'll know what ingredients go in certain things, and then you'll know what you can't eat. Some people really have no idea what goes into their food, and that makes it hard to go gluten-free, because you don't know what's in your food. But if you have some sort of basis of knowing what kind of food has what kind of ingredients, then it'll make your life a lot easier. And obviously the easiest way to go gluten-free is just to cook all your own stuff, because that way you won't have to worry about cross-contamination, and you won't have to worry about, why the hell did they put cream of chicken soup in this? Because you'll know exactly what went in it, because you made it yourself. But besides wheat flour, there are some hidden sources of gluten. The number one offender that I have found is soy sauce. American soy sauce has gluten in it, unless it specifically says that it doesn't. You can find gluten-free soy sauce that is pretty much the same price as regular soy sauce, and it tastes exactly the same. But you have to make sure that that is what you're getting, and you're not getting something else. If it's Asian food, you probably shouldn't be eating it. However, Indian food tends to be pretty safe, but just all those ones with soy sauce, like sushi and Chinese food, that's dangerous territory. Pretty much every Chinese dish has flour or soy sauce in it, and in America, that's not safe to eat. Another hidden source of gluten is barley malt. If I remember correctly, barley is in the wheat family, and it has gluten just like wheat does. Something that has gluten in it that you think might not is barbecue potato chips. Barbecue potato chips don't have flour in them, but they have barley malt. That is a no-no. When you look at nutritional facts and the ingredients, at the end, if it has an allergen, it'll say something like contains milk, or contains something else that people are allergic to. But there isn't one for gluten, there's just one for wheat. So it'll say contains wheat, but that doesn't mean that it does not contain gluten if it doesn't say that it contains wheat. Because as I mentioned, gluten is in more things than wheat. So it's really important to read all of the ingredients list, even if it doesn't say it contains wheat, because it could still contain something that has gluten in it. Generally speaking, potato chips are pretty safe, and so are tortilla chips, but you just have to make sure that you're reading the ingredients list. And that being said, you need to check the ingredients list every time you buy the item. Companies have a habit of changing up their ingredients every once in a while, and you don't want to be sick and wondering, what the hell did I eat? And then look at the package and be like, shit, that had gluten in it. Constantly read labels, constantly see what you're eating, because you never know what it's going to be. Like, it may have had gluten in it and now it doesn't, and it may be the other way around. The thing about being gluten-free is that you just need to know what you're eating. And I mean, that's something that everyone can get behind. You're not supposed to be eating shit that you don't know what it is. So going gluten-free just makes you more aware of what you're eating. And really, you shouldn't be eating potato chips anyway. In my opinion, going gluten-free just means going back to basics. And I feel that when you go gluten-free, you should basically just stay to things like meat and vegetables, because that's what you're supposed to be eating anyway. It's so easy to go gluten-free, in my opinion. It's really not expensive. It's not hard, because all you're doing is just going back to basics. Like, meat can be expensive, but you're probably going to have meat anyway, and you can make it affordable by having smaller portions, which is what you're supposed to be doing anyway. And vegetables are super cheap and easy to do, so you have no excuse not to do this. Just be aware of what you're eating, and that way you won't have a hard time. Thanks for watching this video, and check back to this channel for more.